Hello everyone, welcome again. Today we're gonna talk about the incoming update 7.6, about the new features, buffs, nerfs, and gossips about the new Russian premium tank on tier 10, and of course about the Czech Tech tree. As you know, usually the updates coming about a half of a month, so we may expect next week or 2 weeks time the 7.6 coming to the game. And there's a few informations. The first and most important for all the players who play on Android devices, since 7.6 devices with 4.2 and 4.3 they won't be no longer supported. So if you want to keep playing, if you have one of those devices and you want to keep playing the game after 7.6 update, you have to upgrade your Android to minimum 4.4. Otherwise you won't be able to play the game. From the other things, we have a couple of changes in the tanks. As you can see, Wargaming keep working on the Czech Tech tree, and as you can see, and as you remember, some time ago I made a video about the possibility of incoming Czech Tech tree, and it was quite accurate. And there was a lot about a World of Tanks version of TVP T 5051, Czechoslovakian tier 10 tank. And now we have another update, and there is another change in the parameters. As you remember, previously when Wargaming announced the first data from test, there was 2.5 seconds of reload of the shells, every single shells in the clip. Reload time of a clip was 23 seconds. So now we have a couple of changes. As you can see, rate of fire is increased from 7.84 to 8.14, and the whole clip reload time is increased from 23 seconds to 23.49, so like half seconds longer than before. And they reduced the time before releasing every single shell, which is now closer to the World of Tanks version. Is reduced from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds, which is much better, because as you remember, if you didn't watch that material, I suggest to have a look. I'm gonna leave a link to this video in description, and also gonna appear here somewhere on the screen. DPM from 2439 to 2523 because of that because increased rate of fire on regular shells. On premium shells from 2045 to 2116, and on high explosive from 3304 to 3418. Don't forget, the gun there has four shells in a clip, and after 23 seconds of reload you have the shell released every 2 seconds. So within 10 seconds you can release about 1200 of damage. So for one clip, if you catch the enemy with less than 1200 HP, you're pretty much sure you're gonna eliminate him from the game. That's the strongest point of this tank. What next? The change for AMX 1390, the French light tank on tier 8. Rate of fire increased from 796 to 871, which is a nice buff. Magazine reload time from 17.62 to 15.6, 2 seconds quicker reload. That's a huge buff. That's a very significant buff for this tank. Dispersion 0.36 to 0.34, so you're gonna be a bit more accurate. And now dispersion factors from 0.16 to 0.08, like cut it in half. So gonna be much more. The gun gonna be much more accurate during turret rotation, and also during the regular aim. Next thing, Yak Panther. As we know, Yak Panther is already quite interesting and quite strong. And now, if you struggle with the grind of this tank destroyer, see, the Wargaming is making change for that short 88, the 56 caliber long, which is on the way here, because the next one is long one, 71. That's probably one of the most famous guns there. So if you use this gun, penetration is increased from 160 to 175, so the grind will be much easier, and penetration on premium shells from 210 to 225. That's another nice buff. Another thing, Jagdpanzer 4. Finally, someone realized that they just pushed a little bit too much in the last update, and they create a monster. So now they're trying to fix the problem. And as you can see, we have DPM reduced from 2,868 to 2,598. Penetration is that's a surprise, because penetration is increased, because of course at the end of a line the top gun of this tank is that short 88. So we have 175 millimeters, same like in Jagdpanther we just talked about. And on premium shells, the same situation, from 210 to 225, and DPM is reduced from 2,477 to 2,243. Rate of fire reduced from 1304 to 1181, and as you can see, reload time from 4.6 to 508, so it's like 0.4, like a half seconds longer reload than it used to be. That's why the DPM is going a little bit down. Same situation in Nashorn. As you can see, the short 88 that we have on the way to the long 88 to the top gun has same change for a penetration from 160 to 175, and from 210 to 225. And another thing, the most important probably for most of the players, is the mighty Tog. Finally, after so long, we had a buff of Tog. The most important thing is a buff for speed. From that horrible 14 km per hour, now it goes to 20 km per hour. Not much, but for a Tog, it's gonna make a change. Engine power from 600 to 750 horsepower, and power to weight ratio is growing up from 6.15 to 769. So it's like 1.5 horsepower per ton, which is about 20% increase. So that's gonna be a lot. Another thing for Tog is a change in the armor. As you can see, this is armor in 75, that the current armor that we're using now, and here we have 7.6. So the frontal armor is much longer. As we can see here, this is the old version, the current version of Tog. We have 100 millimeters on the turret, 97 here on the front, and 76 here. The lower plate had 108. And the new version is 121 on the turret already. There is 168 here, where it was only less than 100, and 135 here. Lower plate 123. So there will be no more situation when Tog gonna be shot by high explosives, full power high explosive from the front. So you're gonna bounce. I hope you're gonna bounce a little bit more, and that may cause a completely different opposite situation now, when Tog was always beaten and the only strong point was a gun. So now it could be like a little fortress standing with lots of HP standing on your way. So I'm really curious about this change. Another change is a little bit increased armor on the turret of TVP T 5051, the Czechoslovakian tier 10 tank that we just talked about. Until now, it was like that. We had 146, 148 millimeters on the hull, and here is 146, 122 millimeters on the turret. After the change, we had 166 millimeters here on the hull, and here is 172, 145 millimeters on the turret. So again, slightly, not much, slightly increase, but of course it doesn't make much of a change for tier 10. And another significant change is RLV 39. It was always beaten. Always people complain when they grind the way to the Foch, that his armor is a joke, because look at this. Until now, there was one big weak spot from the front. Here, 56 millimeters, 60 millimeters, and 95, 79. After the change, the situation is completely different. Look, there's a whole cupola is much better armored, 134 millimeters. So there will be no more easy penetration on this side. 120 millimeters here, 100 millimeters here. So hull is still not the best. It's not the best armor, but it's better than before. And that cupola finally well armored. And those are the changes for parameters in 7.6. Next thing is the Czech Tech tree that we talk about. The thing is, we don't have, like in the previous video when I just mentioned a while ago, we talk about the lower tiers that we have already in the game, except the Kolokhusenka, but we have the Panzer 35, 38, 39. We used to have, actually we have in the different tech trees, in the Chinese tech tree, which is surprising me a lot, and of course in the German tech trees, the tech tree that is quite obvious because those tanks been claimed by the Nazi Wehrmacht and then used in the German army. But then the tech tree here that Wargaming announced already in World of Tanks Blitz incoming tech tree, which will come in probably in update 7.7, starts from tier 6, from Skoda T25, which is quite interesting because this is first autoloader. Of course, we're still gonna have collect experience on tier 5 tank, which was, I can't remember, in European tech tree. That was Volkswagen M42, so we have to get back to this tank and collect probably about 30,000-40,000 of experience to immediately start the Czech tech tree. So that's the thing. And then from tier 6 we're gonna have Skoda T25, the first tank with autoloader. Of course, it's pretty much the same like most of those Czechoslovakian tanks. Fast, with the good guns and no armor. So we have Skoda T25 on tier 6, T34 100 on tier 7. So that's probably gonna be something similar to Rudy or on that we have already in the game. Just the difference is the gun, because T34 100 is basically maybe more accurate like T34 85 with 100mm gun. Of course, the chassis is gonna be probably the same like T34 85 on tier 6. Just moved to tier 7 and then added the stronger gun and probably a few speed parameters changes. We'll see. Next thing, TVP VTU. This is the tank with the regular gun. And same situation, fast, good, very good gun, very good parameters on the gun, and a lack of armor. Skoda T50. This is another tank with autoloader, and the same as TVP T5051. Those two tanks that we had autoloaders. Pretty much situation like a combination of German Leopard with Lorraine. Just Lorraine has a bit longer reload between the clips, between the shots and the clip. Here, like I just mentioned a while ago, the clip gonna be reloaded for about 23 seconds, and then we have 2 seconds every single shot released, and we got 4 clips in the shell, 4 shells in a clip. So that's the situation. Like once again, we started from tier 6, same situation like with Swedish tanks. We got whole this part to grind. Another thing is, oh, hold on. Here we got the tanks. That's Skoda, incoming Skoda on tier 6. It looks pretty much like T25 that we have already in the game. That was the German premium tank on tier 5, because the T25 was a prototype of this one. The next thing is tier 7, Constructa T34 100. As you can see, the chassis looks like T34 85 Russian tank. Even the turret looks very similar, and the gun, of course, the gun is stronger because 100 states for 100mm gun. This is TVP VTU concept, tier 8. Here we have Skoda T50 and TVP T5051, of course. Very famous. And seriously, if it comes to the game with those parameters that they just announced, that's gonna be very nice tank and probably really worth to grind all this line. Okay, the next thing that we have to talk about is this one, Object 907. In World of Tanks Blitz, this tank is very famous. It's probably one of the best medium tanks on tier 10. That was given for one of the Clan Wars campaigns or something similar. I can't remember. And it was announced by Wargaming few years ago in Blitz as well. They want to announce, but it was postponed and postponed, and finally we have a picture now. We have a screenshot from Water Tanks Blitz with Object 907, and that might be why Wargaming decided to sell T22 recently. They decide to sell a lot of those tanks just because they bringing this one, and this tank is much better even than T22, which is well known as a very good strong medium tank on tier 10. So just wait for that. Of course, gonna be probably crazy expensive, and will stay for a long time in crates. So just for gamblers probably, but soon enough we're gonna get probably another options and a chance to buy probably for a shit ton of gold and play it itself. All right, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can just leave the comments down below in this video. Once again, if you like my videos, you can subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for incoming ones, and if you like my materials, stay tuned for like I said, stay tuned for incoming videos. Subscribe to the channel, and see you next time. Take care.